Honestly, I was never an automotive engineer as such. I mean, after
As far as I know, sir, designing in the initial stages in India back in the 80s or so was just, very rudimentary. It was just considered as, some art form or something.
from engineering background to a management position, I started working on selling the ideas to a customer. That's how the journey started from marketing.
We also have one cyber truck from Tesla recently, which is of the same type. So, welcome viewers. This is a podcast with Mr. Sitangshu Goswami, and he is one of the senior consultants with Vaarta. So, I would like to welcome Mr. Sitangshu.
Thank you.
And let me tell to all my viewers that Mr. Sitangshu has an illustrious career spanning 3 decades, wherein he has worked with several companies in the automotive sector in India as well as abroad. Basically, he has been a designer and he has worked as a joint managing director and a managing director also with leading organizations such as Aptech, where he has served at C-level. He has worked with many other companies where he has been primarily heading the design function. So I would like to ask, sir, what has been your primary inspiration for entering into automotive design? And can you just let us know about your career and how the path has progressed over the years from being a mechanical engineer to an automotive design consultant?
Honestly, I was never an automotive engineer as such. I mean, after completing my mechanical engineering, I was keen to do a designing. That was my interest of. And I started working with a big company called HCL. But shortly I realized that over a period of time that in the end, a company like HCL, which is predominantly into electronic products,
Yes.
a mechanical engineer cannot excel. And that's how I experimented. I moved from HCL to another process industry. And there also it's a industry where is a combination of mechanical plus chemical engineers because they have defined the process. Could have been a good choice, but shortly after I joined, Gulf War started, and that's how I realized that the projects which were in the process got affected because most of the process industry are related to oil or petroleum product kind of process, and that somehow got badly affected once the Iraq war started. And so I made a further move. And then I thought of automotive as a choice because these are some of the fields which are evergreen. Electronics is one, which is evergreen, never get affected by the market up and down. Similarly, process industry. And third was the automotive. And that's how I started my career with automotive after wasting some years in other places. But yes, as I said, I was always interested in design and the journey started from there. So over the years, I worked with various design companies and into design, and which finally led me to what I am today.
Yes. So you had an illustrious career in designing for sure.
Right.
And you have worked with leading companies such as EDAC. You have spent a considerable portion of your career's time in Germany. As far as I know, sir, designing in the initial stages in India back in the 80s or so was just, very rudimentary. It was just considered as, some art form or something. But later on, people realized that it is not just art, but a lot of physics and maths goes into it. And for designing a vehicle, you have to look into several parameters. So maybe good institutes sprung up like NIT and all, and people started taking designing courses in those institutes. Then also Royal School of Arts in London is one of the famous institutes where people used to take design courses. And after that, we all know that Germany is the cradle and hub of design and all that.
True.
So what impact has Germany given on your career? Means once you learn designing from Germany and all that, how that has shaped your career?
See, one good thing was Germany is a dominating place for automotive design, I would say, right? If you say styling, then Italy is one of the place, but Germany otherwise is strong on automotive engineering. what I learned, and purpose of my going to Germany was, or to join EDAG, was to learn how this high-end engineering is done in these countries, and where I learned a lot of things. I would say it actually changed my life, my outlook for the entire industry, and my capabilities. Everything got changed, because once you start working with German engineers, you start learning how to have an eye on details, right? This is something which was completely missing in India. If you see any old car, the major thing which was missing was the gap and flushness. You will see doors not closing fully. There's a gap between door and the body panel. Then fit and finish, you'll see some panels are slightly opening up in a brand new car. These things I learned that Germans are so particular. They make sure that everything falls in place in an exact way as you should imagine, the best possible way. One. Second, I learned about the whole discipline that is necessary in terms of committing design timeline. Whatever they commit, they make sure that it is 100% done on that timeline, which is somehow in India, it is little lax. I mean, people take it casually. Yes, if a commitment is given to customer, also they will do it as and when it gets completed, which I learned from Germans, that do it with precision and do it on time. There is no shift of timelines on that.
Definitely, when we talk of design in this way, we are drawing knowledge from different disciplines.
True.
Whether it is, textile, or whether it is some form of beauty from the nature. Means people are using all these kind of things to incorporate in the design on that.
Absolutely.
What I have understood recently is that, proportion and design and aesthetics have become the key factors.
True.
So going from the belt line of the car to the different curvatures, and all have to be seen very minutely to come up with the design.
Absolutely.
So, sir, then you had a transition in your career also. You played the role of a CMO in a very big company in India. So how do you think that the knowledge of, design was very critical for the marketing aspect also?
My personal opinion could be wrong. My personal opinion is somebody who knows the subject technically can sell it better, because he knows all the features to explain it to an end customer. So that's how the transition happened. I mean, as I grew from engineering background to a management position, I started working on selling the ideas to a customer. That's how the journey started from marketing. And I felt that this has helped me a lot, because I knew the product that I'm selling. So I can counter any question coming from a customer or a buyer, right? So that helped me in that a long way in this.
And the kind of innovation that is happening in the design field,
True.
with different CNC technologies having been developed a lot, sheet metal bending technologies having developed a lot. Even people are using plasticine or polymers instead of clay, which has always been the mother of all, I would say, 3D design prototypes. So these kind of things have shaped the, I would say, the recent world,
Right.
what the changes that are happening in the recent world. So this kind of innovation and all, how do you incorporate in your role as a consultant also to keep the quality standards, what you have learned, vis-a-vis the local prevailing market conditions?
Say the trends now across the globe is changing, right? What you said, all these new technologies are now accessible. Earlier, it was not even accessible in India, right? So we are way behind in terms of generation from what the rest of the world was doing, and today what we are doing. One, we have an exposure now, and we can see the technologies which are happening across the globe, and we can do that in India. We can buy it out from there. We can also implement it here, because a lot of companies are offering these services locally. So that actually has helped a lot in improving the production, improving the quality of products, and also things like virtual prototyping. Now today, we don't even need a clay. A lot of this can be done through a software. We can see or visualize a one-to-one entire product and see how this can function, right?
Yeah, earlier we used to hear about a lot of softwares like CATIA,
Right.
but now we can do with an Apple iPad Pro.
Yes. A lot of such softwares are available which can help you do a 3D visualization. You can actually see it with whatever environment, color. You can do a complete run of various simulation also on that, and you can see physically. I've seen a car where it is, when it meets a crash, you can do the complete simulation. You can stand and see how a car brakes, what happens to the car, what elements gradually go inside and what gets damaged. You can see it in a not in a physical form, in a virtual form, but it gives you a feel of a physical thing. So this has helped a lot to improve the quality of work that we do today.
So the design market, I came across some of the statistics on the internet. I found the design market is going to grow from $35 billion to $60 billion with a CAGR of 8%. And Germany is the cradle of all design. They have won several excellence awards in the automotive industry, whether it is BMW, whether it is Volkswagen, whether it is any company, so Mercedes, to be specific for that matter. Now, the taste of the consumer is also changing. And designing, even after keeping the efficiency, productivity, safety features intact, is a big challenge, because you have a limit to the kind of, the lines or the creases you can put on the car. Though earlier it used to be like some kind of a flat design where it used to be a heavy single metal component. We also have one Cybertruck from Tesla recently, which is of the same type. But most of the cars will be having creases and lines, and there would be several plastic components or maybe metal components intertwined. So the space is limited, and there are a lot of elements coming into it. For you are a prolific writer also. You have written on several aspects, and you have spoken recently about the ADAS systems in India and all. So keeping all these things in mind and keeping consumer taste, don't you think that it is very difficult for a designer to come out with fresh designs every time?
See, customer taste is changing. One major change what has happened from past to now is, earlier people were not traveling abroad, right? India specifically, if I say. So we never had a taste of what is there in the other side of the world. Now we are traveling. This is one thing which has changed our taste. Second, what has changed is, now a lot of global companies are here in India. Earlier it was only one or two Indian brands, and whatever they were producing, our knowledge was also limited to that. Today I have an exposure where I can see different countries' car in India, and I can drive them. And from there, you generate, one, a quality of taste has improved because of this. Second, your expectation, aspiration has also gone up. Today, if you see in any country, the time spent in your house and the time spent in car has considerably gone up. The time that is spent in car is gone up, one, because of the traffic, because of the distance, so many other factors, right? So you're looking for almost same kind of comfort as you would have sit and enjoy at your house or in office or in any stationary space. So today you expect all those amenities available inside the car, where you can do, in a touch of button, you can listen to good music, connect to a guy, speak to somebody, do a conference call, see your mails. So all those things are available today. It is only because slowly my demands have also grown. If I have to work continuously and I need all these facilities, so my taste has also changed because of this. And this will keep on improving, right? As we go ahead, we want ADAS. It is also one thing where I want full safety with a lot of controls given to the computers in the car, that they help me, guide me to drive safely within the city or within the boundary limits of wherever we are traveling. So this is only refining the process, and this is a continuous process. I don't think it is going to stop anymore.
Okay, so even with the onset of electric vehicles now in the market, and other compelling EV alternatives are also there is not much change that is going to happen. It's only going to improve.
It's going to improve. EVs are rather helping us a lot to make this electronic. Otherwise, earlier it was electronic versus a mechanical thing to talk with each other. Today it is all fully electric. So I can talk easily with anything in the car.
And even the silicon carbide chips have improved a lot. True. So there have been a lot of issues with supply chain constraints from China and all that. And that has compelled the companies to improve on their own, supply chain, in-house supply chains. True. So that is one thing I definitely would appreciate from your side, because you gave us a real insight about how the onset of electric vehicles or hydrogen or vehicles or any other vehicles is not going to change the way a designer is looking at the thing. It's only going to improve it and how to incorporate the new elements.
True.
So when we are talking of things like ACEs, autonomous connected vehicles and all that, electric vehicles and all that, it is not, it is just a positive step or addition, a positive addition to the current existing coterie of cars.
True.
Sir, one more thing we would like to know from you, like any aspiring graduate would like to make a career in design, what should he look at? Means if he is, for example, if he is targeting a position in the Tata group, in the design department, what all should he concentrate on? What all software should he learn so that he can get a job in design?
I don't think you can learn software. There are so many softwares available. Those things can be trained when you join an organization. First and foremost thing is you should know whatever engineering you have studied, that you should be thorough. Because that's a primary thing which you are going to use. Rest are all tools. Tools can be taught, given training, and you can achieve an excellence in that. First is you should know your engineering background, and you should continuously improve yourself by reading as much as you can, right? So that you can keep upgrading yourself. One, this habit has to be there. Second, there has to be a knack for design. Design is something like a music. You cannot, if you don't have a ear for a good sound, you cannot be taught music, right?
Right.
So it has to come from within. If you like something, then you can excel. Otherwise, I don't think you can excel in design just like by entering into a department and excel like that.
So what would be your advice for Indian automotive companies who want to make a mark on the global scale from the design perspective, and simultaneously foreign companies who are planning to enter into the Indian market, how should they target the Indian market?
See, I may slightly differ in this. My feeling is, why should India go to other global markets? See, global market has luxury cars, right? Which the volume is anyway limited. India and China are the two countries which has the largest population, right? So the market lies here. If I tell you the place where I lived in Germany, there's a small place, they call it as a village kind of place. That city had 60,000 families, and the vehicle penetration, they had 32,000 vehicles in that small village. Whereas in India, we have 3 vehicles per around 1,000 people. So it is almost less than 0.3%, right? So imagine if you have to reach that level of 51%, what we talked about in a small village in Germany. So the entire population which is still waiting in India to get a car is huge market. Why should I target any other country? I mean, my sale here itself can excel and grow many times bigger than rest of the world. So I feel we can always deliver a good car to showcase our capability. We can build certain luxury cars, but market lies here. Market is here in China and India. So we should focus more on India population and make cars suitable for the Indian road conditions and the people taste. And global companies have to do a lot of homework because they had to understand the Indian culture, the intricacies of the different cultural requirements in India. We have people who are not sole players. We look car as a family vehicle. These are differences which makes a lot of changes in the kind of car that you bring into the country. And that's the reason why a lot of global companies have entered and failed, because they could not understand the requirement which is there in Indian market. So they have to do a lot of homework to come to India. But Indians who are doing good, I believe they should focus on growing the new market.
And with Mahindra and Maruti Suzuki growing the way they are,
yes,
these
Tata's
already having design centers in Mumbai, in Bangalore, and all several places.
Tata's also have a very good design center, and they should make more and more vehicles to suit the Indian market.
Okay, now I would also like to know from you, what is your plan for the future in terms of, your current given your current capabilities, not only in design, but as a marketing expert, as a management expert, and you have capabilities in several different domains of business. So how do you plan to go forward, incorporating the best from what you have learned from your design experience all through the life?
So one correction, I will not call myself an expert. I am not an expert. I'm still in a learning phase. And I believe learning never stops. So you continue to learn throughout your life. Yes, whatever I have learned for all these years, I'm trying to practice that and see how I can help industry to grow it up, right? So that is the only aim and ambition I have currently, to work with as many companies as possible, guide them in areas where whatever I have learned, if that could help the organization to grow, I would love to do that.
Okay. Towards the end, I have one small query for my personal end. Like, Germany has almost 15 OEMs out of the 75 OEMs in the world. And they have, several, I would say, the production facilities in Germany are the highest in Europe.
Correct.
And the value add, not only in the IC engine category, but also in the electric vehicle category is the highest as of now. And given all this fact, how does India compete with Germany, behemoth like Germany? Maybe how much time will India need to, reach that stage?
That will be a long way, I would say, because India, again, requirements are completely different, right? We are, in terms of development point of view, the rest of the Western world is far ahead of us in terms of advancement that they have. And that's an advantage because they have a large land, small population. To cater to all that small population was easy. India, we are, moving very fast in terms of development, right? And I'm sure we'll catch up, but it will take some more time because I have to still focus on what is the requirement of the country. And based on that population, I have to address and make vehicles. So whatever I do, I will not be like Germany because ADAS may be a requirement there, but today I have to provide first vehicle to all the people. ADAS comes for me as a later priority. So I will never be like Germany in at least near future immediately. I will have the capabilities. Whether I use it or not is something which is to be still evaluated based on how the choice of the customer changes in India. If that changes fast, probably we will cross them. But if not, then yes, my personal opinion, we will not cross them because our requirements are completely different from rest of the world.
Okay, it was very insightful talking to you. And I would personally thank you, especially in German, Dahan Kudir, for coming to this Verco.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.